Hey, this is Steve Phipps, and I'm a realtor here in Gilbert, Arizona. I'm glad you could join me today. What I wanted to talk to you about is a question that I often get asked. Should I sell my current home first or buy what I want? In other words, buy first or sell first? That's what we're going to discuss today. But before we get into that, I would appreciate it if you like the content that I have here. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That way you'll be notified when new videos are posted or new information is posted. Give us a thumbs up, give us a like, and if you think it's relative for one of your friends, share it with one of your friends. And that way we can keep bringing you the content that we have. So without further ado, let's get into this. Oh, by the way, if you have a question, if you have something that you want me to cover, go ahead and leave that in the comments section below, or if there's something you'd like a little more information on, leave that in the comments section below. So let's talk about this. Should I sell my house first or should I buy the house that I want? The real question that we need to ask is, what kind of market are we currently in? Because that's going to determine what kind of strategy we use, whether we're selling first or buying first. So if we get into this, let's talk about the market. That's the market. What is the market doing? Currently, as I'm recording this, we're in a very high-end seller's market. A lot of the homes that we're listing right now are selling within 8 days. In other words, they go on the multi-listing service and they're under contract within 8 days or less. So that's a pretty high-end seller's market. That simply means that we have less inventory and more buyers. If we go to the next one, and by the way, your home's going to sell really quick in this kind of a market. The other one that we want to look at is it a neutral market? Now, a neutral market is a shifting market. It doesn't stay neutral for long. This simply means that we have a balance of inventory and we have a balance of buyers. One's not really gaining on the other. Usually homes are going to stay on the market 60 to 90 days and then get sold. So, but a neutral market, you need to understand that a neutral market is a transitioning market. It's either transitioning to a seller's market or it's transitioning to a buyer's market. And in a buyer's market, which is our next market, homes are staying on the market for a long time, usually 90 days or more, up to a year, depending on the price point and the type of home that you're talking about. So it can be really stressful in a buyer's market because buyers are hitting price points really hard, trying to negotiate, pay less, ask for concessions, that kind of thing. But the reason that you want to know what kind of market it is because it's going to determine the type of strategy that we're using. So with all that said, and if you take a look at whether or not it's a seller's market, neutral market, or buyer's market, we can now look at the strategies that we need. So if we sell our house first, we want to sell our house, and one of the advantages to that is you know what budget you're looking at. In other words, you've sold a house, you have your cash out, or you're going to have your cash out, and you know how much money you're going to be putting in your pocket, whether that's $15,000, $20,000, $40,000, $100,000, you know that that's coming, and you can use that to negotiate with or fix the house up, whatever you need to do. The other advantage to selling your house first is that your financing on your new purchase is a lot simpler. Now, why is it simpler? Obviously, you've got one mortgage that you're dealing with. Lenders like that. They don't want you to have two mortgages unless you're really strong financially. So it's simpler to get a mortgage on the new home because you've already eliminated one. That's, a lot of this stuff is going to be common sense as I go through it. So you'll just have to bear with me. Third advantage that you have is you have time to negotiate the top price for your home. Now, that means that you're not worried about selling something else. You're concentrating on or buying something else. You're just concentrating on getting your home sold and getting it sold for the best possible price for the particular market that you're in. The fourth advantage that you have is that you can benefit from shifts in the market. For example, if we happen to be in a buyer's market, prices are dropping, or we need to get the best possible price by putting your home on the market first, you can sell it before it drops any more in price. That's what we mean by taking advantage of market shifts. Advantage, you could miss the home you want. If you've got your eye on neighbor Fred's house down the road, and you know he's going to put it up, depending on the particular market, he may not want to wait for you to sell your home, and he may not want to take that. He wants cash, he wants whatever. You could lose that home. That is a disadvantage. Two, having to live with someone or renting. So you've sold your home, where are you going to live? You're either going to get a rental, you're going to stay with somebody short term, something like that. And depending on the market, is going to depend on how this works for you and what you need to do. The third disadvantage is you're making two moves. Oftentimes, if you're going to go live with somebody or you're going to a downsized rental, you're putting part of your things into storage, and then you're having to move into your new home once you acquire that. So you've got two moves: one out, and then one out and in, and then one out and in again. Risking market shifts. Again, this could be a disadvantage if we're in a strong seller's market like we are right now. You sell your home first. You could be leaving some money on the table if you had kind of waited a little bit for the market to shift a little more in your favor. But these are things that you have to take into account. What if we bought the home first? What are the advantages to doing that? Well, number one, you'll be able to secure the home you really want. You don't have to worry about, you're not worried about selling your home and then going and buying the other home. You're just going out, finding the home you want and buying it. Two, you'll only have to move once. So you're going to move out of the home that you're currently in, move into the home that you want. Three, you can take advantage of shifts in the market again. So if you're buying your new home first and it happens to be a strong seller's market, what you're doing is you're buying your new home at the lowest possible price for the market at the time. Make sense? Disadvantage: you'll have two mortgages. You could have two mortgages. Unless you're in a very, very strong financial position, having two mortgages could cause some problems in refinancing the new home because you have bigger strain on your budget. Taking on higher interest loans. Again, this is part of how you have to look at your strategy. You may use a part of your equity and take out a secondary loan on your current home to get the cash out to buy the new home, or you may use a bridge loan. Pressure to sell your current home. Again, as we talked about, you've got two mortgages that you have to pay for, and you're either cutting into your monthly budget or you're cutting into your cash reserves. In either case, you have less money to spend. And at some point, even if you're comfortable doing that short term, you may run into a situation where you really need to sell to get that second mortgage off your back. And then, of course, risking market shifts. Now, what do we mean by risking market shifts? Again, like we've said before, depending on the particular market that you're in, you could be in a position, if we're in a strong buyer's market, maybe you want to wait, get that home at a lower price. So there are advantages and disadvantages to both. It just depends on what type of market that we're in. So what are some possible strategies that we can look at? We'll go over these real briefly. One, you can make an offer contingent on the sale of your current home. This simply means that what we're going to do is we're going to add a contingency addendum. Any realtor can do this for you, or should be able to do this for you. It simply lets the seller of the other home know that your sale or your purchase of their home is dependent on the sale of your current home. The other thing you can do is secure a lease back on your current home. If you've got a little bit of time, you can ask the buyer of your home to give you a couple of weeks, give you a couple of months, or in some cases, you can even ask for a few months. Again, that depends on the market. You're going to sell your home and then you're going to lease it back for a short period of time. Take out a secondary loan on your current home. Again, this would be a HELOC or a second mortgage home. Bridge loan's a little bit different, but this is another strategy. You can pull that equity out before you actually sell the home and use that as your down payment. Rent your current home. You could either make it a permanent rental, which is one strategy, or you could put yourself in a position where you have renters in the home on a temporary basis to ease some of that monthly burden with two mortgages. Disadvantage to this is that your renters are now in charge of when your home gets shown. In my state, which is Arizona, you have to give your tenants at least 48 hours worth of notice. So if Saturday's not a good day for them to show the home, they could say no, and you shift all your showings to Sunday or Monday or whenever. You can use a bridge loan. Bridge loan is a little bit different, although it is kind of the same principle as taking out some of your equity. You use some of your equity as a down payment. Bridge loans can also pay the mortgage on your first home for 3 to 6 months, and then when you sell your first home, they just pull back what you owe them out of the sale of the home. You can sell your home to an investor, also known as an iBuyer. You'll see them advertised all the time on social media. You'll see them advertised all the time on TV, radio. Hey, I want to buy your home for cash. Give me a call. I'll do it. I'll buy it. And you have to keep in mind that while there are advantages to this in that you know when your home is going to close, you have it sold, you are going to leave money on the table because they are investors and they're going to discount the price of your home always so they can make a profit. And then, of course, last but not least, there are always other strategies that you can use. And there are a ton of strategies out there. Real estate is very flexible. Just be sure you know when you do this that you've investigated what you're going to do very thoroughly. You know the advantages and disadvantages, because every strategy that we have has advantages and disadvantages. With all of that said, buying your home, selling your home, first or second, is very, very much dependent on the type of strategy that you're comfortable with and what the market is doing. If you have any questions, you can give me a call. I'm Steve Phipps. But in the meantime, we're connecting people with homes, one relationship at a time. You have a great day.